What he had to say in the pre-match presser about the criticism being justified. Carlo Ancelotti said, "We did badly against PSG. The first critic is me. Our approach to the game wasn't good and I have to take responsibility. I spoke to the president afterwards and to the board. They are hurting like us. We are very honest, we played very badly. The image of Real Madrid wasn't good and that is what hurts the most." Well, Pablo Zabaleta is in Madrid ahead of the next game for Real Madrid. Thanks for being with us, Pablo. Oh, you might be in someone's way there by the sounds of it. Pablo, tell us what you think about what Carlo Ancelotti had to say about the PSG game.
Well, we saw Carlo Ancelotti press conference this morning, and I think he was very honest. He took full responsibility of that performance of Real Madrid against PSG. They know that they didn't play well. The performance of the whole team not been great. And obviously they will need to improve for the second leg. I mean, if they want to go through in the Champions League, they will need to play much better than what we saw against PSG this week.
You see them going through, Craig?
I think it's a problem, particularly when you think about the players that are going to be missing. Casemiro, Ferland Mendy. Both are problems. If you watched Marcelo play against Villarreal, Chukwueze absolutely tore him apart in the first half. He just hasn't got the legs anymore, got all the experience. And you take Casemiro out of the midfield, he's just got that nous about plugging the holes and getting away with all the dark arts of the game. And then I think the biggest concern for me, and it starts this weekend in one of our live games, is does Carlo Ancelotti risk Karim Benzema this weekend? Because without him, as well as the other two, I think they've got no chance. And he didn't, and no way am I blaming him for the performance, Benzema, but he didn't look fit. He looked worried about the hamstring. And there's, 2 to 3 weeks before the next game. What does he do? This weekend, against a team that are near the relegation zone, do you take a risk with a hamstring that might keep him out for 2 months? Or do you go gingerly with it and tread carefully? I'm intrigued to see what Ancelotti's going to do.
What do you think about that, Pablo? Benzema, it's obviously a bit of a tricky situation because, as mentioned, they've not been doing so well without him, but he doesn't look 100% right now.
Absolutely. They've been out for a month, which is, every single player needs to be at their best, especially at this stage of the season where all the big games coming up, and Real Madrid needs the best of Benzema. I think it would be a risk for Ancelotti to play him tomorrow as a starter. Probably we see Gareth Bale playing as a number 9, or they will try to rotate and give some rest to the players. But also Real Madrid need the 3 points tomorrow. They only have 4 points gap with Seville, which is a top game for Real Madrid. They need to get the 3 points. The fans will expect from the team a good reaction and a good performance from the whole team.
There is that pressure to put on a good display though now, Craig, because even more so against the relegation side, they're missing one of their best players in the defence. Surely Real Madrid have to put what's happened behind them and get a good result here.
Particularly after the comments of, Florentino Perez as well. Sort of off the cuff, not happy with the performance, all that sort of stuff. Not happy with. I had to laugh. Some of the directors unhappy with Carvajal's performance. You go and try and you go down there and go one-on-one with Kylian Mbappe and get no help. See how easy that is. So, some silly comments really coming out. They just didn't play well, but they haven't played brilliantly now for quite a bit, even going back to before the winter break. So it is important because Sevilla in particular are keeping some pressure on them. And clearly the guys that are going, I know Pablo said Gareth Bale, you've got Luka Jovic could play there. Good Lord, he could even use Eden Hazard as a false 9. He's used Isco in that position as well. So the options are not great, but I agree with Pablo. I think it's just too big a risk to take, particularly when he's carried the team for so long. If he plays against Alaves and you get the 3 points, fine, but the hamstring goes, then that's your European season pretty much over. And by the way, it's going to be even more difficult for them to win La Liga if they don't have Karim Benzema all the way through to the end of the season because they just don't have a like-for-like replacement.
And they'll be hoping, come the end of the season, Pablo, that they can get Kylian Mbappe. And after that goal against them, weirdly, it's caused more excitement in Madrid. This is a player that we... Do you think it's put more pressure on the likes of Florentino Perez to bring in a player like this in the summer?
Well, listen, I saw today in the Spanish media, apparently PSG made a new offer to Mbappé of 25 million, a signing bonus, or 1.2 million per week to him to convince Mbappé to stay at the club. I don't know, something ridiculous. You know, this guy is flying at the moment. Every single team in the world would like to have Mbappé, but I think Florentino will splash the money. They know they need to bring him to Madrid, and will be a huge signing for Real Madrid next season.
Does it matter about the money at this point for Mbappé? If he wants to go to Madrid, he's just going to go anywhere.
I don't know. Some of these players are just so super rich. I don't know how much the money then comes into it. You know, particularly if one's offering a big, huge amount and the other's offering maybe slightly less. But I'm intrigued when Pablo said, 25 million a year. If I was in Kylian Mbappe, I'd say that's only half what Lionel Messi's getting, allegedly. He's supposed to be getting £1 million. I don't know how true it is, £1 million a week. But I think ultimately we're probably going to see. I still think Mbappe's going to end up in Spain. Of course, PSG will try their best to convince him that this is the place to be, Paris is the place to be. But I get the feeling he's made his mind up. He wants to be the start of a new at Real Madrid, and that could be with Erling Haaland as well. There's a big F, but it could be. And a start of this new Galacticos going in there and a full rebuild to try and be back at the top of Europe again. So I personally think that's what's going to happen, Kay. You
mentioned it could be with Erling Haaland. Javier Tebas, the LaLiga president, is very confident that they will get their hands, Real Madrid, on Mbappe and Haaland. And there are some reports saying that that will happen this summer, in his opinion. Could you see it happening, Pablo?
Why not? I mean, I'm sure that Florentino would do everything, as possible to bring them both to Real Madrid. Ambition is there. The new stadium is nearly done. So that would be amazing to see in La Liga these two of the greatest players right now. I mean, think long term probably would be very clever, for Real Madrid to have them in the team. Benzema is not getting any younger. He's 34 years old now. Mbappé, Haaland is only 21. So, and I think they can play both together. Why not? Maybe Benzema behind him, Haaland up front, making runs in behind. That would be amazing to see. Hopefully, finger crossed.
Intrigued. I'm intrigued, Pablo. Do you think Barcelona will have the financial clout, or will find the finances to try and go for somebody like Erling Haaland? Or do you think that's beyond them? And can they afford to sit back and potentially watch Real Madrid bring in the two hottest young talents on the planet?
Well, I know Barcelona have been struggling financially, but I'm sure they have the money, or they will have the money in the summer to go for a player like Haaland. It would depend on the player, where he would like to go and play for. I mean, maybe he knows that if he goes to Barcelona, he will play almost every game, because they don't have, apart from Aubameyang or Ferran Torres, they don't have a proper number 9. But if he comes to Real Madrid, he will have Benzema, two players to compete for one position, or as I said before, maybe they can play together, why not? But some clubs in England, probably they will splash the money, they will go for him. So I don't know, we will see. But I think Real Madrid are in a better situation right now than Barcelona to afford a player like Haaland.
The first one is that we always talk about these players, and we all talk about Erling Haaland too, as if, and I know, and Pablo mentioned it, Karim Benzema's 34, he's not getting any younger, but he's not getting any worse. In fact, he's got better. As long as he stays healthy and fit and sharp, he's playing as well as ever. So he's not going away. I mean, yeah, it's great to have 2 or 3 of them, but then you're you've got the problem of keeping everybody happy. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, because, you know, Karim Benzema has been carrying this team, so he's not going to just give that number 9 slot up lightly. So there are a lot of factors, Kay, to come into it. But I just feel Spain is going to be the place to be for these young guys.
What a horrible problem to have, deciding who to play and where the pieces
Real Madrid or Barcelona.
Thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more highlights, analysis and exclusive content, be sure to subscribe.